Morning.
Good morning, sir.
I was just quickly checking my phone. Didn't know we got down the countdown. I'm waiting for my phone call off the pharmacist. I've still got to. So you might hear me. It might be a live call. This which goes on. I've got to tell her about me farting.
Yeah, yeah. You were listening to Trump, weren't you? So,
Yeah.
one point of note: I've done an experiment this last week because we did a load of. I've just clipped a load of stuff about the tea making situation. So what I've actively done this since that pod, whenever it was, I've started making my tea the way that you said. And notably, it doesn't taste any different, and it takes me a lot longer to make a cup of tea. So that's why I kept you waiting a little bit this morning, mate. You know, I want the first one on the pod today. But first one,
All right, because you were making your tea proper, like.
making me tea in. I wouldn't say proper. Anyway, yesterday we started doing a quiz, and we got part way through it. I've got some more questions for you, Charlie. Are you up for that?
Yeah, let me have a sip of water.
Have a sip of water. Anyone wants to comment on any of the questions, answer the questions, please write into Charlie at hello@funnyfarmpod.co.uk, and we will answer your questions on pod. So the next question is forced choice. Now you've got 60 seconds to defend just one of these.
To what? 60 seconds to what? To defend?
Defend one of these stances. So you can pick the stance. Once you pick the stance, I'll start the stopwatch, and you'll have 60 seconds to defend it. Okay? So the stances are: more censorship can protect democracy, or free speech should include offensive speech. So more censorship can protect our democracy, or free speech should include offensive speech.
I'm not really into censorship at all, so I'm going to go for the latter.
So free speech should include offensive speech. Are you ready, Charlie?
Yeah, go on.
Go.
I think at the moment, free speech already includes offensive speech. I think everybody's got to have their own opinions, and if that offends somebody, it's going to. You know, we've all got our views and opinions, and our views and opinions do offend people, believe it or not. Whether you think you're in the right, you know, or you're in the wrong, you're going to offend some people. Some people are going to have the same views as you. Um, I mean, I know we're a comedy podcast, and I always go on about comedy. And I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Jimmy Carr recently, and he just says what he wants to say, you know, and if it offends people, he's like, so what, you know? Comedy and laughing is more important than the offence that some people make. You know, so that's it in a nutshell. That's what I believe. I think whatever we say, whatever we do, we're going to offend somebody anyway. There you go.
Brilliant, mate. Yes, I agree with everything that you just said there. I would have picked that one as well. I think censorship. I think it undermines democracy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's happening in America now. They're trying to cancel people. I know we keep going on about America, but and Trump and that, but I suppose it's the most relatable thing to our democracy and to our society that mirrors us in effect, doesn't it? Except they've got really cheap fuel. But
There's something you just said before we came on that you were listening to the Trump thing, and it's like Trump's he always tries to censor people saying stuff that's against him. He
yeah,
doesn't like anybody having an opinion against him and this, that, and the other. But then he's turned around to King Charles and said, if it weren't for us, you'd be speaking German. You know, so he can say whatever he likes, and it's
yeah.
okay.
No, that was just in King Charles's speech. He said, you know, Trump said a while ago that if it wasn't for like the Americans, we'd all be speaking German and maybe a little Japanese. And King Charles, you know, at this speech, it was a bit of a jokey bit that he was saying. He wasn't being serious. But he said, you know, can I just add that if it wasn't for us, you'd actually be speaking French. So, you know, you know, and the room erupted. But yeah, I mean, Trump just wants to censor people. I think I mentioned on the last pod about Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know what his name is, and he basically said the day before the assassination attempt that Melania Trump looked like a mourner in waiting, and now they're trying to get him cancelled. You can't do that. Trump said, didn't he say last week or the week before, some senator had died, and Trump said, "Oh, thank God he's dead. I'm glad he's dead." You know, so if you're in a greenhouse, you know,
don't throw stones.
exactly. You know, I just don't understand his psyche. I don't understand the American psyche of. Well, I do actually, because the America. Have you ever watched that film? It's like the Thunderbird puppets. What's it called? And they sing that. What's it called? America, fuck yeah. Haven't you seen it? Oh, I'll have to Google it. What's that film called? Team America, World Police. Team America, World Police, and it's about a load of puppets and they're like special forces and all that, and they go around saving America, and it brings in like North Korea and all that. It's funny as fuck, and the best bit in it are like is the sex scene. These dolls having sex. It's hilarious. It's years old.
Heard of it.
But like it's like they have this song and like it goes. This guy gets this guy's on the cover and they go in it like I'll give us the secret sign, you know, when you want to get away, and they go, well, what's the secret sign? He's going. It's just hilarious. It's hilarious. Anyway, so America, and it's just taking the piss out of Americans being gung ho and, you know, and all about American and going out and helping people, and they have that theme song, America, fuck yeah. And that's what Americans like, in my opinion, you know, and you know, so Donald Trump comes along, and he's Team America, World Police.
Just keep going, mate.
And your butt plug just falling out.
No, my fucking monitor cable, I've just kicked it.
Oh, right, I thought your butt plug had fallen out. Yeah, so, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so Donald Trump is one of these. So, like, but in reality, he's come in and he's saying he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Well, we're not going to start a war. I'll go in and within a fucking week, I'll finish that war in Ukraine. It'll be over. We'll have a massive economy, you know. We're going to start taxing these people because he's got all these ideas. They haven't been thought through.
No.
And he surrounded himself with yes men and yes women who were fucking shitting themselves. He thinks he's a fucking god.
Mm.
He's fucking senile. He's off his head. He keeps going on that he's taking this fucking that test about 5 times and he's aced it every time. Well, if he's taking it 5 times, isn't there a problem? But he keeps saying to him, well, you better take it again. You better take it again.
Yeah. There's a post that I saw on Facebook last week, and it was going on about it. Basically, this person had like looked at Trump across the years. I think it was like 2018. They like viewed how he was holding on to the railings on Air Force One, and he walked down a street and he'd got an umbrella, and the umbrella turned inside out, and he just carried on walking, and just like he didn't know where to put things and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like a bit of a study. It's an unofficial thing that it's somebody's opinion, but you know that he's had that issue for a long time. But yeah, it's.
They reckon he's wearing nappies now as well, don't they? So
more than likely, yeah. He's full of shit, so it's got to go somewhere, isn't it?
Anyway, on to the next question before I start going off on
this
one.
This one's called Nuclear Question. It's not about nuclear. It's not about nuclear war or anything like that. It is, what current consensus do you think history will laugh at in 20 years? So like an opinion or a consensus, something that's like in place at the moment, what do you think that will be in 20 years we'll laugh at?
Um,
It's almost like the Nostradamus saying that the world was going to end at the millennium and stuff like that, and obviously that's being laughed at, I suppose, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I suppose with that, I suppose you could think of like COVID, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, um, where we were a little bit too. I don't know, gung ho with it, but I don't know. It's an odd one, COVID, isn't it? But let's think of something else apart from COVID.
There's arguments out there that we weren't gung ho enough with COVID, isn't there? That
Yeah.
should have been, especially the UK, we were behind a lot of. We didn't lock down quick enough, and then we came out of lockdown too quick. And
No, well, we were just letting anybody in through the airport, weren't we? We never locked down the airport at all.
yeah, yeah,
But I don't know. Will we laugh at COVID? I don't know. I think we probably won't laugh at COVID. I think COVID will be something that we need to reflect on, work on, and build on. So I don't think we'd laugh at that. But I think something we'll probably laugh at.
I can be quite controversial on this one.
Go on.
Climate change. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as what they're making out. I'm not a climate change denier, obviously.
You know what? You're probably onto a good thing there, and I think it's going to be. I don't think it's just going to be climate change. I think it's probably going to be everything that goes with that, like renewable energy and stuff. And I think we're still going to be reliant on fossil fuels in the next 20 years' time. I think that's still going to be the main, the main source of power.
I think we'll laugh about it in 20 years, or we won't be here in 20 years. It's one of those, isn't it? It's like the planet itself, as an organism's got a great way of repairing itself, and the ice age and coming through all that stuff, and he's got like a good way of selecting how to move itself forward, I think. And maybe it's just the plan, I do think that, like, the way that human beings have this zest for progression and building on green fields and stuff like that, and the fact that we're building, but there's millions of empty houses. I do think that there's like an effect there, and I'm not a climate change denier, but I do think that some of the statements that have been made by some of these climate activists are going to be laughed at in the future.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Right, bonus. It's called a chaos round. So, what opinion would get you cancelled if clipped out of context?
Back entries, mate, isn't it? What I call back entries.
Yes, 100% the jigger.
I'm going to start calling them enogs now.
Just for context, everybody, I won't clip that out of context, but yeah, just like, so in Liverpool they call a back entry or a gennel or an alleyway in the house or the side of the house a jigger.
Yeah.
Or
an enog.
Go on about
an enog.
I think you've got that right. Let's pick a couple more. So there's some. I've got some others. Right. So we had the AI one, didn't we? We already asked that question. Which issues cause the biggest political divide right now? Immigration, free speech versus moderation, cost of living, or AI replacing jobs? So which issue causes the biggest political divide? Immigration, free speech versus moderation, cost of living,
I think it's immigration. Immigration. Yeah, I think everybody's basing politics around immigration now, and that's where it's being fought, isn't it? I mean, Farage says if Reform gets in, they're basically going to kick everyone out. When a lot of people are all, yeah, let's do that. That's it. I mean, the answers are that, as far as I'm concerned, is immigration. I think with AI, I think people are still learning about that. What were the other options?
Immigration, free speech versus moderation. We've just talked about that one.
Yeah. I think it's definitely immigration. You know,
Cost of living or
but you
AI.
know what? I was like, you know what? Going back to immigration, and we're saying, you know, if it's done properly, and like you're a doctor or a nurse or you're whatever profession and you come in, you know, it's great. But I think on the flip side of that, it should be, well, why aren't people in our country having those jobs?
Because they're lazy.
No, it's not that they're lazy. It's because of some of the fucking hoops you've got to go through to be a doctor. You know, it's some of, you know, it's some of, you know, the interview process, the qualifications. You know, why don't they make it a little bit more accessible to people who are from a lower class or whatever? You know, it's, you know, of haven't got that money to support themselves, because it's a long course, isn't it? It's like 5 years or something, or whatever it is. There should be a lot more support for people who are British to fucking be a doctor, to
So,
be a nurse. You know.
so the Tony Blair era, he was like the famous education speech. So that I went back to uni during sort of towards the end of that period of time, and what that Labour government did was make higher education, further education, more accessible to people. I worked for Aim Higher, which was it was a government funded scheme where we got kids who were like CD borderline kind of people and tried to push them above. I did, and then we had outstanding student stuff where we, you know, kind of promoting higher education. They pummeled loads of money into access to higher education and aspiration, and unfortunately, you know, then obviously 2010, the government changed, and you know, fees up for making it less accessible for normal people to do it. I think there's an argument that, you know, you're always going to have outstanding kids that come from a working class background, but if they've got to go out, if they've got to go out and their parents can't afford to help them through higher education, and they've got to go out and bring a crust in for the family, which still is a thing. You know, it's not a dark ages thing. People do have to do that still. And there's an element of that.
It's just not about outstanding kids, is it? You know, it's about kids who work, kids who want to put in the work. You know, children who want to put in the work to become a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, and to do this, I just don't think there's enough support for them. You know,
No, not.
I just think, again, it's down to, like, we're supposed to be a classless society. It's still down to the classes, isn't it? If you've got money, if you're a fucking Oxbridge candidate or whatever, the chances of you going to be a doctor, if you want to be a doctor, you can do it. You know, and yeah, it's just entitlement again, isn't it? Which I don't like. But,
The other side about if we're specifically singling out doctors, for example, I would imagine that kids who have got the intellectual ability to perform that role, and let's be honest, you need to be very highly academic and, you know, sciences, maths, you've got to be good at those things in order to become anything of that level medically. But the money's just not great. You know, it's not. The doctors don't get paid enough. You know, I know that there are bursaries still and stuff for medical students and whatnot, but they don't. I don't know what the starting salary for a doctor is, but I bet it's not much more than 30, 40 grand to start with. I know you can. You know, you consultants, you get to that level, and then it's good money.
yeah. I suppose you're looking at a long term, aren't you? When you want to be a doctor. My mate's a doctor, and he always wanted. I mean, he had problems getting into, like, you know, onto a course and all. They had to do zoology first, and then he went back. But fortunately, his family had a bit of money and they could support him. But he just wanted to be a plastic surgeon,
Yeah.
and he's a plastic surgeon now. You know, and he's loaded, and you know, and I think with anything like that, a vocational qualification like that, it's long term, isn't it? You're looking at it in the future, and I suppose it's like with teaching, and it's a vocational.
I think you think about like that medical side of things, and he wants to be a plastic surgeon. He's achieved his goal. We're having right trouble today, aren't we?
I know, yeah.
I'm kicking
I
white.
think I think that's the pharmacist ringing up.
Oh, do you need to take that call?
No, God, they've gone now anyway.
Yeah. How many even people that go and qualify as a doctor actually become anything more than? I know GPs get decent money. It's not a bad career choice, but I would imagine that where the need is in accident, emergency, that kind of stuff, and there's going to be a lot of those doctors on shift. The waiting times and stuff are rubbish at the minute, so they're obviously we haven't got enough of these people. I would be a massive advocate. I think we're on the same page here, mate. That there needs to be money.
I think, yeah, and I think like with being a doctor, I suppose like doing like your GP stuff, your A&Es and stuff like that, going through that, it's like your apprenticeship, isn't it? And you don't get paid lots of money when you're an apprentice, but you expect to be paid for the hours that you do.
Yeah.
And I would say that, and if they're doing silly hours and not getting much money, but it's like your apprenticeship, isn't it? And you go on, and you might love A&E, and you want to stay in A&E. You might want to go and be a gynecologist. You might want to go and be a paediatrician. I don't know, but it's that's what I was saying earlier. It's about the long term thing. But this should be the state's the NHS and that, and with your immigration as well, there should be some sort of report into it. Well, let's see if we can get the British, kids or involved in, who want to do that, and it's the same with manufacturing. It's just not about medicine, it's about manufacturing, engineering. We're so backwards on so many things, and that have declined over the last 20, 30 years.
If you look at like the mental health strain of stuff, obviously I graduated with psychology, did decent, and then like I wanted to one of the things I either wanted to do research, academia, or go into clinical psychology, and I applied for the clinical psychology course twice. You had to pay to apply. I applied the first year, got nothing back, and like the lecturers that I talked to about it said, you won't get in the first time. There's no way you'll get in the first time. You have to keep applying. I applied the second time. I got to the assessment stage, and that's where I fell down. And then I just decided not to bother. But I mean, we are going back to 2011, 12, so we're going back, a good...
Yeah, I mean, if that process is still in place, and he's looking at, doesn't it? Because that's just...
Well, it's a good 10, 15 years ago. But back then, I think once qualified, it was a 35k role to be a doctor, clinical psychology doctor. And even back then, it's like I moved out into a job and was earning virtually that. Just, and I've not used my degree. That's the thing. It's like I haven't used my degree, because you do your degree. I worked 3-4 jobs sometimes while I was doing my degree, because I've got a wife and 2 kids to look after as well. And then it's like you have to go and do a master's, which is another year or 2 out of your life, and then PhD, if or the doctorate was 3 years. The thing with the doctorate was that if you got onto that, you were paid to do that. So it's almost like that. The first 3 years of a medical degree is university based. It's all that, and then you go on, and the rest of it is you go into hospitals and you do your clinical practice and all that kind of stuff. So I got to the level where I'd done the academic part, and it was then I needed to move on to do something where it was. You take a higher education, so you go into master's level study and doctorate, and I was trying to get straight into the doctorate, but you were up against people like you say from Oxbridge and this and the other, and I'm not being funny. I think that my psychology degree was a BPS approved accredited degree from Derby, but I got the same level qualification from a teaching university. So Derby was more of a teaching-led university, whereas if so I got loads of teaching time with lecturers, if you go to Oxford or Cambridge, you don't get that teaching time. It's a lot of self-learn. So, and I don't think I'd have done as well if it hadn't been for where I got it from. But there's definitely something that needs to be done in regards to that. And if you look at like the Australian, this started off as an immigration talk about immigration. If you look at like the Australian methods of immigration, where if you want to go over to Australia, you've either got to prove that you've got the wherewithal to support yourself, or you've got a trade that they need, or family and stuff there. So there's a lot of box ticking to do to get over there. And I don't think anybody, me specifically, minds positive immigration into the UK. We need more people in the NHS. We need more people teaching. We need more people in the police force. And if people are coming over to do those roles from elsewhere and they're doing that and they're putting into society, that's brilliant. But if they're not, and the trouble is, you've got the right wing who are send them all home, and you've got the left wing immigrants, you're welcome here. That's kind of the two taglines, and it's somewhere in the middle where we need to be.
Oh yeah,
somewhere in the middle. And if you didn't have as much illegal immigration, could you then fire that money into the NHS and stop 20, 30, 40, 50-hour waiting times in A&E? My dad sat on a bed. He's got MS, he's got COPD, he's got emphysema, and he sat on a fucking trolley, in fact, in a chair in A&E for 60 hours before getting to bed.
Yeah, that's wrong, isn't it? It's wrong.
So we're turning into like a fucking topical political podcast.
What's the next question? God, let's crack another one off.
See if I can find, let me just see if I can find a funny one that you can try and make funny. Okay. What issue do you preach about but don't live by? Has he frozen?
What do I preach? I don't really preach about stuff, actually.
You're a Liverpool fan. You sat there in a fucking Everton shirt.
Exactly. So I don't preach. What do I preach about? I suppose that might be something with the kids. Yeah. I mean, I always try and see. I'm a great believer in, and whatever you say, you've got to do. Like in work, I'll only ever do. When I was a boss and stuff like that, I'd only expect people to do what I've done. I wouldn't expect them to do it if I haven't done it. And and like what I sort of like preach, it's I don't know. There's got to be something though, isn't there?
You're not really a preachy kind of person, are you? You're not. No. It's always been me that's come out with the opinions, and then it'll be stuff that I don't live by. I think like we are a mental health pod, right? And we go on about, if you've got any issues, write into us, talk to us about it, come on the pod, talk about your problems. So one of the things that I preach about is that you have to be open and just get it off your chest, right? So talk about stuff. And the one thing that I don't do is talk about my problems.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah. That's the one.
And what we're doing is from a good place. It's like, do what I say, not what I do kind of stuff, isn't it? Because the best thing you can do if you've got mental health problems is go and talk to somebody about it. And like we do this every day now. So in effect, I do it because I talk to you about my problems, and I talk to, with Joe. I still talk to Joe, and he's coming on Friday, so he'll be out in a couple of days. But yeah, he that sounds like he's in prison.
I know, yeah.
I meant the podcast to be out in a few days. But yeah, so one thing that I definitely preach about on here like if Jane's got any issues at all, I'll go talk to the doctor. Health issues as well. I've had this bad back for months now. Like the spasms in my back, and I'm trying to deal with it myself. I'm stretching and, I'm going for walks, and I'm trying to drinking more water, hydrating myself. But it could be something that none of those things can cure. Could be my liver. I don't know. It could be my kidneys that are causing the pain. but I need to. And I know I've got checkups coming though, so it's kind of like, I don't need to go now. So, but realistically, if I was giving you that piece of advice, I'd be like, get yourself to the doctor straight away and go and talk about it.
And it was like that sore I had on my chest. They wouldn't disappear, and it had it from September to like a few weeks ago before I actually did anything about it.
Yeah.
So I suppose little things like that. I suppose my personal well-being. I'm always telling people to do it, but myself, I don't do it. Yeah.
So the moral of the story here is that we should take our own advice.
Yeah.
You should take our own advice and talk about your problems and stuff like that. Time for one more quick one, I think. Let's have a look.
You crack another off. Oh, it's all gone quiet. Have you frozen?
Kind of asked that question, so that one's no good.
Oh, I've tried to contact you today to discuss. Anyway, I've got a message off the pharmacist. I'll contact him.
So this is a really good one. So this will be our final question for the day. If power and money were guaranteed, what principle might you compromise first? So you get power and you get money guaranteed, but you've got to compromise one of your principles in order to get it. What would you compromise?
What would I compromise? Probably my thing about lying. Because I wouldn't tell anyone. I don't like liars and I don't lie. But I probably wouldn't fucking tell anyone. And I'm suddenly driving around in a Lamborghini and going, well, the pod's doing really well. Yeah. That's what it'd be. Yeah, the pod's we're doing fucking brilliant on the pod, we are.
So I've known people in business that would literally compromise everything. They literally do anything for power and money. And that's why that's an interesting question, because we aren't that person. We like money. We like earning 10 grand a month if we can. That'd be lovely. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But I'm not earning that at the moment, and I'm happier than I was before, because I spend time with my family. I spend time with you doing this. I do loads of comedy now. I'm doing loads of extra work, doing some acting work, and it's just enjoyable in life. I don't know. I think this is a really, really tough question, because I hate lying as well. I don't like lying. That's a really good one. So you'd lie to get it, basically, is what you're saying. You would lie through your teeth. So if I was to say to you, the podcast is guaranteed that we're going to make money, but you can't tell anybody. You can't. You've just got to tell everybody that it's going badly and it's not going well, or you've got to lie to your kids about where you're going because we've got to go abroad to do some specials or whatever, and you've just got to lie your way through that. You would compromise on that.
Yeah.
Would you turn into an Everton fan if it was guaranteed that this podcast was going to be like make us millions?
I'd do anything for this pod, mate.
And on that note, guys, I've really enjoyed that. We'll have to do this again, mate. Maybe you need to be the question master next time. Okay. And perhaps we'll make it a little bit light-hearted, a bit more potential but a bit more rude and maybe a bit more controversial in that respect. But if you've enjoyed the last two pods where we've done these quizzes, please write in, tell us your views, tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right, tell us we're cunts, whatever you want to tell us. hello@funnyfarmpod.co.uk. Please like and comment on the videos. We need to get our algorithm moving. So please like, comment, share, hit the bell to get notified when new pods and new shorts are coming out by us. You can sign up to Patreon as well on that. All of the podcasts are on Patreon. It's free to join. We've not got a paid membership at this moment in time. That may change. We may look at that in the future to give extra content. We all started off doing that, and then we decided just to make it free for everybody. So patreon.com/funnyfarmpod. Like us on everything. Get the moaning cunt out of that Everton shirt on Facebook.
Yeah, hello, funnyfarmpod.co.uk. Send us an email.
Yeah. Oh, like my socials as well, please. Chris Richmond on
Go
Facebook.
and see him. Go and see him doing a gig.
Yeah, come and see me having a gig. Have a chat with me afterwards. It's lovely that. Or you can buy me a drink. Yeah, at Chris Richmond comedian, at Chris Rich comedian on Instagram.
That's at COCK. Right.
Love you all. See you
See you
tomorrow.
guys.